I did score. I was very happy about that, but just to get kicked out, I think I was pretty amped up from scoring that I might have been a little bit too excited after that, and I just hammered it.
What was it like when you first got a phone call and you knew you were going to represent your country?
To know that we were going to have a chance to go is like a dream come true, you know. As a kid, I always watched the Olympics. I still do, but maybe not as much as I did when I was a kid because we watched it religiously when I was young. But
and was there a particular guy that you connected with the most in your time in Russia?
One of my last years in the KHL, Alexei Kovalov was one of our assistant coaches too. So like having him as our assistant coach was pretty awesome, and like he would come out with us early and teach us some of his tricks.
Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show. It is your host, David McCaig Jr., bringing you another special edition upload powered by the Game Entertainment and Media. Thanks for tuning in. This edition is sponsored by the Sport Displays and Flawless Roofing Sure Seal Incorporated. Wherever you're listening, make sure you're subscribed, following, and liking the video or audio versions of content from the TGEM YouTube channel to wherever you get your podcasts of the game content, such as Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and much more. Now let's get to the co-host joining yours truly for the special edition upload here tonight. We got two to introduce. Firstly, you know him by now as my usual co-host on these special edition uploads, former professional hockey player of over 1,000 games and hockey analyst for TGEM, Brendan Brooks. Brooksy, how's it going, pal?
Doing good, man. Looking forward to the show. You know, I've never crossed paths with him, but I look forward to hearing about his journey.
Definitely. It's a good journey for sure. And I'm very excited to get into it. Now, getting to the second co-host joining yours truly tonight. You hear him on the special edition uploads with yours truly. And he's also co-host in the Game's Top Shelf edition. And he's also sports analyst for the Game Sports Show and the Game Entertainment and Media. The one and only Alex Parr. Parzy, a legend. How's it going?
Wow. I thought when you said owner of 1,000 professional games, that was going to me, but that's okay. I'll get my ego checked.
This isn't the EASHL.
Oh, gotcha.
Like that's a fun. Now getting to our guest.
Actually, hold that thought. Are you looking for a way to show off that memorable sports item, preferably a jersey? Just like how I like to show off my John Tavares Toronto Maple Leaf jersey? Well, look no further than the Sport Displays jersey mount. It's easy to put up and it's easy to take down, and it looks nice on your wall. Perfect for your office, perfect for your cave, perfect for your garage, perfect anywhere. Plus, they offer great fundraising opportunities for your sports teams. You can check them out on their website, thesportdisplays.com.
Now, getting to our guest, this guest is sponsored by the Sport Displays and Flawless Roofing Sure Seal Incorporated, was drafted first round, 6th overall in the 2005 NHL draft by the Columbus Blue Jackets. He spent 4 years with the Vancouver Giants in the WHL, where in the WHL, he was named the first All-Star Team Rookie of the Year, Playoffs MVP, and won a championship. He played 299 career NHL games with 95 points between the Blue Jackets, Oilers, and Coyotes. Overall, this guest had a total of 484 professional level games in combination with the National Hockey League, the American Hockey League, Swiss A League, and the KHL. He did participate in the 2018 Olympics, and in those Olympics, he won a bronze medal for Canada. The one and only Gilbert Brule. Gilbert, thanks for coming on the show here tonight.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Looking forward to getting this going.
Yeah, you know what? It's always fun to connect and hear the journeys, and we've done so many of these editions, and it never gets old. That is for sure. Now, the first thing I want to get to, and we usually have a post opener. Not gonna lie, but I'm gonna count this as topic 1 too. Okay, so we've connected on social media, and we've planned out the show, and we finally get the recording here tonight. And there's one thing that I came across on your Instagram page, and it's in your bio. Okay, it's Hideaway Creek Modern Luxury Retreat in Robinson's Creek, BC. Now, this is unbelievable. Why I'm bringing this up is if anyone wants to take a second to go look at his Instagram and see this getaway, I want to go there first off. But can you talk about this? Is this your property? Is this something that you rent out, or what is it like?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's the name's Hideaway Creek, and it's basically built on my property it's been about just over a year, maybe like 14 months or so. So fairly new place. We just wanted to do the whole Airbnb thing, and we decided to build on our own property because it's a little bit easier to manage. So it's worked out nice, and it's providing jobs for a couple of people in my family as well. So it's really nice to keep the money within the family. So yeah, it's nice.
I got some family in actually Vancouver, and I was actually showing my fiance this getaway, and I think you and I are gonna have to get connected, okay? Because it
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
absolutely unbelievable. Or maybe the Game Sports Show takes a trip out there. I don't know, but it looks absolutely stunning. Alex Brooksy, did you get a chance to look at it, or is this the first time you're hearing of it right now through me?
This is the first
No,
time for
but
me.
by
I just
the-
hope I get to hang out with him.
That's cool, man. Yeah, it's great. We've got we got a nice cedar barrel sauna here that we just added in the last few months, and a nice cold tub with it as well, and nice hot tub on the deck too, with close to the bedroom and stuff. So it's nice and romantic, and hung some nice lights up there just recently as well. So it's starting to look real nice.
Brooksy, you can cover this trip for us. Hey, Brooksy, let's put it.
Oh yeah, I got you. It'll be my honeymoon gift for you.
That's exciting. All right, I'll let you get off with the actual topics here, Brooksy. I know we'll count that as the first topic, but we'll still say that as a post opener. We'll go to you.
Well, normally we start at the bottom, but I want to start at the end of your career in Russia. We've had so many guests the last while, and some wild stories. So I just want to hear a little bit about your adventures in Russia right before you decided to retire.
Yeah, I guess you guys mentioned at the start of the show, I was listening to how many games I played. I think I played almost like 300 or over 300 games in Russia, and just about 300 in the NHL. So a little bit over 400 and whatever you said there. I think I'm closer to 7 something, maybe even 800 games. So
incorrect by me.
But anyways, in Russia, when I played there, I played, I think, around 300 something games. Russia was really cool. Like I got just about 7 years there. And it was interesting in my time is I got to spend time in Croatia as well. And I played on team in Shanghai and Beijing as well. So for those 3 seasons, I got to live in China, I got to live in Europe, and then a few other seasons I played in a couple different cities in Russia. And like obviously the experience in Russia is different than what we're used to, right? It was definitely a culture shock the first time I went over there. For the first month or two, I was just completely lost. But once I got used to the culture and things and the way things went, started to learn the language a little bit, I actually started to enjoy it there. And then when I come home, I was really grateful for how lucky you are to be, and live in North America, live in Canada, US, where we are, and just have things pretty well compared to, some of the cities in Russia are tough places to go, and I sympathize with the people there, but that's, that's part of their struggle, their journey, right, too. So, yeah.
See, Brooksy, we've heard stories about people. We've heard the crazy stories, Cage Bear. We've heard people with guns. People with guns. You have to go get money in cash. And I can't remember who it was, but it might have been Yablonski. It could have been Morasti. I forget which one went into more detail. It could have been more. There's been so many. But you also played with some big names over there too, like Alexei Ponikarovsky, myself and Parr being in Ontario, being Toronto fans, and remembering the Matt Sundin days and living those times. Or Ponikarovsky was there, but later then you have Wolski. You played with him on the Olympic team. You also had Viktor Kozlov. That's a name that I haven't said in I don't know how long. So there's some good players there that you played with. It must have been a good experience playing. Was there a particular guy that you connected with the most in your time in Russia?
All those guys were pretty cool. And, I even in was it Beijing there, one of my last years in the KHL, Alexei Kovalov was one of our assistant coaches too. So like having him as our assistant coach was pretty awesome. And like, he would come out with us early and teach us some of his tricks. And I mean, that was pretty awesome to like learn from a guy that had such a high level of skill and just was like a master with the puck and his skating. Like some of the stuff he was showing us was pretty incredible and was actually challenging us, as pro players. It was tough to do. So it was awesome to learn from a guy like that.
Yeah, he was definitely a type of guy that he made it look easy. I don't know how he did it. Every time I watched him, he just looked like everything was effortless. And I can only imagine. Was he the same way as a coach?
Yeah, he, like you said, he was like silky smooth, right? And I think he was just like that as a coach, like on the ice trying to show us stuff. He was just like, made it look easy, like you said, and just was still so good. Like he could still play, but has obviously moved on to coaching, but just an amazing player, still has amazing hands and skill.
See, and you bring up coaching, and I think it's a good segue into this question. So obviously with you playing in North America for most of your life before you went overseas, is there a significant, I know there's a play difference, like in North America and you play over in Europe, the playing's different. It's a lot of speed.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of that European game is coming today, obviously, if not, it's here. But coaching difference, I never really asked this question to anybody, but the coaching difference compared to in Europe in general, in comparison to North America, is it different as well, like significantly different, or is there a lot of relatable coaching that you kind of receive on both ends?
Yeah, I think I might not be the best guy to ask for some of that, because when I did go over to Europe, I had like, I had Mike Keenan, I had Mark Crawford, I had I had some I had some North American coaches over there, but the couple Russian guys I did have, like the first year I went over there, the coach didn't speak any English, so I had to like really ask guys or really pay attention to what he's drawing on the board, like really watch what I was doing, because I obviously couldn't understand what he's saying. But later down the road, I had a Russian coach that did speak English, and things went a lot better. And there's definitely some relatable stuff there, but definitely a lot of new stuff that that we just don't do in North America because of the style of play, like you mentioned. It's more of an open, cutting back, gaining speed, trying to get control the puck more than a North American style. More in the past was a dump and chase kind of game and chip and chase, right? Yeah, try to retrieve the puck on the smaller ice, but on the bigger ice, you kind of need to do the delays and swing backs and control the puck because you got so much space out there, right? So
yeah. I know Brooksy, when you played overseas, and your game really flourished over there, Brooksy, because of your speed. And Gilbert, you'd be the same way. You're offensively, but you like playing with a little bit of an edge, as did Brooksy did too. It's. I feel like if that game is so exciting over there, and I'm glad that it's starting to come over here a little bit more in North America. And I might save this. You know what? I'm not going to say this for your draft story. In the way the game is now, okay, in the North America, would that be a better fit for you, do you think, than what it was?
Oh, totally. Like, as you mentioned with Brooksy, like when I went over to Europe, because of my skating style, like I'm a good skater. I love to skate. I love to get speed, it was a great transition for me. Not necessarily my first year, because it was such an adjustment just with everything going on around. But once I started to get used to that style of play, it definitely benefited my style of game.
100%.
Yeah.
Parzi,
I don't think, I was just going to say before Parzi steps in there, I was just going to say, like, I don't think the game is fully ever going to come over until they decide to go to the big ice. And which I don't think the NHL is ever going to do, just for seeding reasons or whatever. So I think to see that full game, you're going to have to keep it at the international level or go over and watch a game.
Yeah, I think that that's what makes the Europe and that international game so great and so unique, is that it's not just the exact same everywhere, right? You have that kind of different change with the ice, and I think they should keep it like that. Maybe it's been great that way, right? So it's nice to have a bit of both.
Yeah, I want to know what it's like playing in China. I mean, I've only ever seen a game in North America. So what's like the biggest difference there is when you play in a place where especially the NHL is trying to grow the game?
Yeah, it's tough right now, right? Like we were there for the first few seasons. The team was starting, and not a lot of fans right now, so it's hard, right? And they are trying to market the team over there, but yeah, like I said, it's tough to draw people in. People really love basketball over there, and some other sports that have already really developed, right? So it's hard to get people into that hockey market.
Kind of people forget about baseball there, how big it is.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
And right, like it's, I don't know if that's the number one sport, soccer. I don't know which one's the number one sport top of my head, but I know it's not hockey.
In China, I want to say I don't know what it is, but I'd say basketball's got to be up there for sure. People absolutely love basketball there, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, largest spectator sport in China is basketball.
Yeah.
Confirmed. Thank you, Parr. That's, you know what? You're on it, man. You're on it.
He's quick. He's really quick.
Thanks for being on it. Parzi, though, I want you to lead the third topic. I know this is something that you would love to talk about. You love the international conversations.
Yeah, I mean, how cool is it to play in the Olympics? Like, I mean, come on. For the stars to align in such a way for you to be able to get called to the team. What was it like when you first got a phone call and you knew you were going to represent your country?
Oh yeah, just to like get called to start the whole camps, just to start, I think we went through 3 or 4 camps and a few different tournaments along the way to them picking the team. But just that whole process to know that we were going to have a chance to go is like a dream come true. As a kid, I always watched the Olympics. I still do, but maybe not as much as I did when I was a kid, because we watched it religiously when I was young. But just to go to play there, and then like to win a medal for Canada as well. That was just another whole thing when I was just like, we got to come home with a medal. Everyone wanted to come home with the medal so bad. And it was just so nice that we could finish at least third there. And yeah, just a really special moment, the whole thing. It was just an incredible experience. Totally.
What about the lifestyle in the Olympic Village? Do you have any stories from your time there?
Yeah, we were in South Korea, so it was pretty interesting. Like we got to go around the town a little bit once we left the village. People are super nice and friendly, and even invited some people into their houses like for dinner and to watch the games, and like that's how friendly people were there, which was really cool to see. And yeah, I don't know, we didn't get to do like too much stuff there because we're pretty busy, right? But the whole Olympic Village was a cool experience, just to see all the other athletes. We all ate in the same, cafeteria, basically. Like the mountain sports, they had their own thing on the mountain, and the rest of the sports were in the town more. But yeah, just to see all the other athletes, just to communicate, just to get to know and see other people, it was just a whole crazy event. It was wild.
See, Brooksy, I think and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Mason Raymond, I believe, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you
I got to play with him.
Yeah, you play with Mason Raymond. There's Derek Roy, Chris Kelly, Renee Bork, right? There was a good team there. You guys had a good executive staff. I'm remembering this top of my head right now. You had Tom Rennie, you had Martin Brodeur, you had Willie Desjardins as your coach, I believe. And obviously Hockey Canada is going through a lot right now as we're recording. Things can change in weeks or months, or weeks by the time this uploads. But that has nothing to do with this, of course. And you being able to, obviously everyone calling it spade for spade right now. Everyone wants to see McDavid, Crosby play together, right? That is everyone's dream to see before Crosby retires, that they want those two to play together. But you know what? Truthfully speaking, if you look back at the 1980 Miracle on Ice, you had the Americans beat the Soviets before they won the gold medal. Miracle, one of the best hockey movies. And I'm a Canadian saying that. And as we all are, we're all Canadians saying that. But it all started with the quote unquote amateur athletes. Obviously you're a professional athlete, but seeing guys like yourself, Mason Raymond, Chris Kelly, Derek Roy, and there's more guys I'm forgetting because I'm just saying it top of my head. Ben Scrivens, I think, was one of your goaltenders. You had guys there that were NHL players, including yourself, and it was a good hockey team assembled. Obviously the KHL had Kovalchuk in Russia. They had their team, their star-studded team, but the tournament was so exciting still to see you guys play. And these are all guys that all play in the National Hockey League. So I think everyone had a doubt going into 2018, but that changed after everyone watched it. And you guys win a bronze medal. You get that on your over your neck and hanging over your neck. What is that feeling, putting that bronze over? But even though it's not a silver or gold, which is your goal when you get there, it's still great to place and get a medal to represent your country.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the quality of hockey in that tournament was still very good, still very high level of hockey. And
100%.
In that game against Germany that we lost to, it was a tough game. We, by the end of the game, we realized Germany really did have a game plan, and those guys had been playing together for quite some time, a lot of them, right? So they just blended, they molded well, they had a game plan, they stuck to it, and they executed well. And we just had a tough time, getting going. And then a couple of tough goals went in, and we just got behind the 8 ball pretty quick. But and then I scored, but then I got kicked out of the game. That didn't help either.
Right, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I mean, I hit a guy with his head going down through center, and any head contact at the Olympics, it's suspension, unfortunately. But I didn't jump or elbow him or anything like that. It was a tough time there. But yeah. So, anyways, after that, watching the guys, watching them win the bronze medal, at least I got to watch and be part of that. But it was super fun just to get that medal on your neck. And obviously we wanted gold. We wanted, to do that. But just to place at least third, fourth, they say, is really tough at the Olympics. That's a tough place to finish because you're just out of the medal ranking. So it was nice to get one at least.
I'm actually really happy that you guys had the opportunity to go, because you can look at all the great talent that could have went, and there's still great talent that did go. It doesn't matter. It was still great overall talent. If you talk about Canada, talk about Germany, talk about Russia, it doesn't matter who you're talking about. It was still exciting. And I remember some friends and saying that, I don't know if I'm going to watch because you still don't have the dream team, or people. No, it was still very exciting to watch, headed by you and guys that I've said all their names already, guys that were headed there. And, I feel, Brooksy, you played international experience as well. The Spangler, you played for England in the Spangler. You'll correct me if I'm wrong with more teams, but
You're so wrong, but it's okay.
is it okay? It's good.
I played for Canada.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then at the Worlds, I was playing for Britain.
Oh, there we go. Okay. I wasn't that off. Okay.
But now you got it.
Yeah. But either way,
you got it.
International experience, it's so much different than anything else. And it's just impressive to see that, when you got there, you got the call. What were your expectations for yourself when you got there? Was there a certain level where you're like, hey, I got to get this, besides winning gold? Was there something that you wanted to do yourself to accomplish?
Personally, at the Olympics, you're speaking?
Yeah.
Honestly, I just wanted to be on the team. Like, that was my whole thing. When I got the call, knew that, the NHL wasn't going to be going. I just was like, I really want to be on this team, and I'm going to do everything I have to do to get on that team. And I guess I made it. So that's all I wanted to do. And then, once we had the team picked, then it was like the whole team's like, hey, now we want to win a gold medal. So that was the whole mindset kind of going into it. And we always just wanted to keep that mindset and try to play to that gold medal standard. But, sometimes you fall a little bit short.
100%.
Now, did they bring a lot of guys in for the tryouts of the team, or did you just, or were you just getting the call and go? Because usually sometimes, it's tough. They usually just have the guys like that they know that they want, and they bring them maybe a couple extras to finalize the team. Or did you guys have like a full camp?
Oh, we had a few different camps. There was one in Sochi, and I think there's another one somewhere else. Like, we had a few different camps, and they had two separate groups that were skating basically. So it was a lot of guys. And then as the year went on, we had a couple tournaments. There was one, I think, in Riga. There was one in Moscow, and there was one in I think it was in Helsinki in Finland. And so we would play a couple exhibition games against these other teams, right? These other countries. And then they kind of weaned everyone out as we went along throughout the whole season. And this was we were playing our regular season games, and then we'd have those Olympic breaks, right? And then we'd go to these tournaments, play games, not get any time off, fly back, play our regular games. It was a long year, but it was totally worth it. And I'd definitely do it again. But there's probably, I want to say, close to 60 guys total that they went through and had at camps, and just, weaned it down to 20 something, right? So.
Wow. All right. I know this was your topic, Parr. I don't know if you got more to add.
Were you confident when you saw 60 people that you had a fair shot still, or were there any self-doubts going into it?
You know what? I was confident that I belonged there. I just, when I was there, I just wanted to do everything right. Like I said before, I just wanted to fit into the group and do what I had to do to make the team, and, try to excel in whatever role that they gave me. And I think I did a fairly good job besides getting kicked out of the game. That was a really tough pill to swallow. And, I was getting death threats from people after that. So it wasn't easy for me to deal with either. So,
well, you could look at it as the game you got kicked out in, or you could look at it as the game you scored in. I mean,
well, I did score. I was very happy about that, but just to get kicked out, I think I was pretty amped up from scoring that I might've been a little bit too excited after that. And I just hammered it.
Hey, when you have a guy cutting across the ice, no, you're hitting that guy. You're hitting that guy. That's the instinct to it, but that's not everyone's instinct now. Like I tell you, from coaching nowadays, high school level and junior level, they're not the same. It's not, and it's. I know we're kind of veering off the Olympic side, so I won't do that too much. But as you mentioned, the Olympic rule is any head contact, right?
Yeah.
You're kicked out, and that's fine and dandy. But they're not taught nowadays how to hit the way that maybe yourself and Brooksy. I think you're an 87 birth year. I'm a 91. So you got 4 years on me. So we're closer. No offense, Brooksy. But it still wasn't, it wasn't taught for when we were younger, me, you and Brooksy, we were taught, boom, you're finishing that check in the novice level, the Adam level, that type thing. Now they're not hitting until they hit the under 15 level is what they call it. The under 15 or even high school level, which is so dangerous because you're bigger now. You don't know how to hit. You don't get taught how to hit. That's why kids are joining football so they can try to learn how to hit and try to be better in other sports. But if you have a guy cross ice coming, your instinct's to hit them. And I don't think it was a dirty hit, to be honest with you. It wasn't. I'm looking at the video while we're talking. I kind of see highlights. It wasn't dirty.
The guy was just low.
Yeah, the other side of the hit is that, like, you guys need to learn how to protect themselves as well. You want to learn how to hit, but you also have to learn how to take and protect yourself. Like, I was always taught, like, if a guy's going to get his hands up in your face, you protect yourself, protect your head. But the guy that I hit at the Olympics, he was like 6'3" German guy, and I'm like 5'10", maybe not even 5'11", and he was skating with his head down. I mean, that's just like, I'm gonna finish my check because that's my style of game. But like I said, those are the rules, and I didn't think it was gonna turn out that way, but that's just how it went. So it is what it is, right? So.
No, when you cross that zone, even if you don't have the puck, if I know I'm getting a puck that's a suicide pass, we'd like to call it, or it is called. I'm not even, not that you're not worrying about the puck, but you're thinking, okay, I'm getting a pass in the neutral zone right now, and my back is turned, or I'm not looking at the play. Someone's coming. That's our mentality, right? Some, like, in our generation, I say, different levels between me, yourself, and Brooksy, of course. But there's just, you're taught that young, and I'm happy we were taught that young, because there were moments when I played, or I'm sure when Brooksy played, when you're getting one on yourself, when you get that pass, you're like, all right, I'm gonna get rocked right here, and you prepare.
It's happened. Oh yeah. It's happened to me a few times.
It happened. And
it sucks.
Well, Dave was the only one given the suicide passes. He didn't have to worry about getting them. He just gave them.
You had to look back for those ones.
Yeah, I love seeing teammates get rocked, and I come pick the puck up after.
Wow.
Just kidding. Just
ultimate
kidding. God, that's good. Okay, so the next topic I want to get into, transitioning, which is obviously Olympics. We can talk for a long time, and it's such a great thing that you went there, and so recently as well, just under 4 years ago. But I want to chime into a topic that has come really popular on this show. We get a lot of messages about it, which is really unique, but the draft story.
Hold that thought. You need to protect your investment from the start and at the top. And you can do this with Flawless Roofing SureSeal Incorporated. Flawless Roofing is based in Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada, and Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada. Flawless Roofing is Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario's only certified EPDM roofers. Flawless Roofing has been in operation since 2012 and offers over 30 years experience in the business. Flawless Roofing offers solutions for both residential and commercial rooftops. You can check them out today at flawlessroofing.ca or give them a check out on Facebook.
So something that we started right now back, we're hitting the episode 6 season up. So we are back talking episode 2 and 3 from 4 or 5 years ago. We started these recordings, and people love this. So I got to ask you this, and it's yourself. I'd have to look back and see, actually, I wish I had this fact down before we talked, but see if you were the highest pick in the draft that we've interviewed. And I think you are, but you were drafted first round. You were a tie-in prospect, and you go to Columbus 6th overall in a very good draft in 05. If people remember, that's Sidney Crosby's draft. That is Bobby Ryan's draft, and Carey Price. And if I had to do the redraft, it'd be Crosby, Price, and I'd still pick you because the way you played junior, I'd still pick you where you fell. So just so you know that. But that aside, I want to know your draft story. Okay, so did you expect Columbus to pick you? I'm sure Montreal was a team that you anticipated to go to because it was 5th overall and given your name, but you're not actually from Quebec. You're from Alberta. Talk about your draft story, the meetings, any weirdness, anything that came out to you that stands out that you remember from the draft.
There's one thing I think with the Vancouver Canucks management that I had, I don't think that I was very smart in the things that I said to them, honestly, and I think it kind of maybe swayed them away from picking me. I don't know if they actually wanted to pick me, but maybe that's just in my own head and my thinking. But when we had a conversation, I had just played junior through Vancouver. I grew up playing, all my hockey in Vancouver. And I kind of said it would be cool to see somewhere else in the world, just to play somewhere else and, get some experience. And I think they kind of took it you don't want to play in Vancouver. And I was like, well, I would, but I think they kind of took it in a harsher way than I meant, and I just think that, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if they actually were going to pick me because I think they were 20th or something, but that year. But anyways, that was one story I definitely remember. But I met with Doug MacLean a few times before I got drafted, so I knew that the Blue Jackets were interested in me for sure. Doug and his son were there. I remember the whole time he was with his son. He was right there with them, with everything, all the conversations we had, and
and that's where it ended up going. That's it. Brooks, I'll go over to you to continue the topic.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing. I just had a question. So once, you sat in there and you talked to the GM, did he give you, what he was looking for, when you're going to get to the team and what he wanted out of you?
From the Blue Jackets?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I not completely, they were just kind of more thinking about like, would I come to Columbus? Did I want to play there? Like those kind of questions I was getting more from what I remember. Not so much like, hey, this is the kind of player we want you to be. And unfortunately, because when I did go to Columbus, I think I could have used a lot more coaching, and it was unfortunate because Doug McLean and all the Gerard Gallant were there, ended up getting fired within 4 or 5 games, I think, of our first season, and then after that, all the people that wanted me there kind of were shipped out. So it was tough. Obviously, with Ken Hitchcock coming in after, things changed a little bit for me. So. Yeah.
So, and Alex, I'll go to you for this point, but obviously with Gilbert's name being French, being a French nature, and Montreal took Carey Price, obviously 5th overall, but I'm sure it's fair to say that your question was going to go towards why wasn't it Montreal? Is that fair to say?
Well, yeah. What was your meeting with that organization? Like, were they alluding to anything that maybe they were possibly looking at taking you as well, or were those meetings not as productive as maybe you would have hoped?
Yeah, I don't think they were as productive as I would have hoped. I think they were pretty short from what I remember. I don't think there was too much conversation. Like, I definitely had more conversations with the Blue Jackets and a few other teams than Montreal. Like you guys mentioned earlier, though, a lot of people, because of my name, thought I'd be going to Montreal for sure. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to learn French then. So I think that's happened, but it didn't end up happening anyway. And yeah, so I went to Columbus, and yeah, that was it.
Think of it this way. You could have, sorry, Parr, and I think you're going to laugh at this.
Yeah, go ahead.
He could have gotten drafted, Gilbert, 21st by the Leafs, and you could end up getting traded to Boston. Okay. Because that's the player that went to Boston for Andrew Raycroft. So you know what? That could have been a whole different draft for you. But sorry, Parr, I cut you off.
That could have been awesome because I would have played with my buddy Milan and they maybe won a cup with the Bruins.
Well, I just wanted to know, you said the Blue Jackets were asking like if you would play there or if you would go to Columbus. What do they expect you to say? Nah, not really feeling it. Like, this is your dream coming true. What kind of question is that?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of interesting, right? So I was like, yeah, I would come there, of course. Like, I want to play in the NHL. So
like, how many of the questions that you're getting asked are you just like thinking, like, this is a dumb question, I have no choice but to answer it in this way, and you and I at both ends of this table know that?
I mean, you have to be, gracious. You have to be humble. And I think in going into those things, because these are the people you want to work with and work for in the future, right? So I think you want to be grateful to the opportunity that they're presenting, and be respectful, obviously, no matter what kind of questions they're asking.
All right, touche.
I feel like it's fair to ask about the Crosby hype in this, because you were there, and Crosby, everyone knew Crosby was going first. I remember that was the year of the lockout, right? So Pittsburgh won the lottery of it all. Yeah. Crosby, and Anaheim was up there with Pittsburgh, and they got Bobby Ryan, which honestly I know he's not Crosby. I get it, but he was still a good pick. Very good pick. But the hype around Crosby, did you get a chance to talk to him at all when you were there? Did you, or was it kind of just, you were in your own and he was in his own type thing?
Like, getting closer to the draft, it was more of our own things, but a few, for the few years kind of building up to that, I had met him a few times, and I think we met and went out for dinner with I can't remember, one other player. I can't remember who it was, but we all, during the combine in Toronto, the testing. So yeah, I'd met those guys a few times, but was never like really in close contact so much with those guys. More the guys that I had associated with a bit more on the West Coast and stuff through the Western Hockey League.
Yeah, I see that. I remember that lockout time. And I remember for some reason that lockout, the song by, no free ads in this show, but we're going to hear anyways. Molson Canadian, when they said, "Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry?" Do you guys, I don't know if anyone remembers that commercial with the lockout. Very funny. Very funny stuff. But quick transition here, continuing through the NHL. I want to talk about when you got that first call up. Okay. So I want to talk about your first goal, put on that jersey for the first time. And then eventually you played for your hometown, the Oilers, as well. But firstly, let's go to the call up. Where were you when you got that call that, hey, you're coming up with the Jackets tonight?
It was straight out of training camp. Actually, I made the team from training camp. So yeah, I was playing with them basically from camp. I did, went through the whole rookie camp, went through everything, the main camp, and yeah, I ended up playing the preseason games with them, and then was signed to the team like right away. So I mean, I just basically went from camp, made the team it was pretty lucky and pretty nice. I know I did pretty well my first year. I went to camp and had a really good preseason.
So how about the first point, first goal feeling? I think you had 4 points in 7 games in your first season. I think
Until I got hurt. Yeah.
Until you got hurt. Exactly. Yeah. So how'd that feel? Your first point, your first goal.
Yeah, things were going really well when I first came up, besides, getting hurt. But the time that I did play, I was having success, right? It was great. So the coaches were just kind of letting me play. And like I said, things changed a bit after that. And obviously I got hurt. I broke my sternum, which was a pretty serious injury. And then I fractured my fibula as well. I think, within 2 and 5 games with any those each injuries. So it was really hard. And I went back to junior, right? So, and had a lot of success in the Western Hockey League in the finals. We won a championship, went to the Memorial Cup and all that stuff. So super awesome to do that. But to get sent down from the NHL, I was like super sad. It was like heartbreaking for sure.
100%. And
I'm just curious about this. Sorry, Dave.
You're good.
I just want to talk a little bit about the injury. I've had some pretty big injuries myself over the years, and I'm just curious, how is your, mental recovery along with your physical recovery with that? Because, getting sent down, then being injured, that's a lot sometimes, especially for a young kid.
Yeah, it was super hard at the time because, pretty serious injuries that I've never dealt with an injury quite like that before, that severity. So just going through all the rehab stuff with like real professionals and real doctors in, Columbus, Ohio, which was an adjustment too for me. It was all very new to me basically, so it was hard, and learned a lot of new different exercises, new ways to rehab, like I spent a lot of time with doctors the first few months there. So it was hard, and I definitely wanted to be part of the team more and part of the lineup. And as you probably know, when you're injured, you're kind of a little bit a part of the team. You don't feel like you're part of the group. So that definitely made it hard, especially like you said, as being, 18, 19 years old. So
yeah, sometimes I find when you have those injuries.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
I'm just wondering,
I was just saying,
who's going here?
You're going, Parr. Parr's going.
You got it.
Parr's got it.
Okay. I just want to know, is it hard to find the motivation after playing at such a high level to go back to junior, to try to motivate yourself to all right, this is what I got to keep doing. It's not exactly where I want to be, but how hard is it to find that spark again?
Good question.
Honestly, I had a fucking blast going back to junior. Like, it was so much fun. I made some money for the first time in my life and went back to junior and had a car for the first time in my life. And it was great. I was having fun, and that was the year of the lockout. So we had 16,000 fans at our Giants games, and it was just an incredible whole experience because it was like we were playing in the NHL.
So you were the man.
We were in the paper all the time. It was crazy. We were in the province right on the front page every week because the Canucks weren't playing, and we were the ticket in town. So everyone was coming to watch us. It was a lot of fun.
We know Vancouver likes to riot when they
yeah.
Sorry,
sure.
I just had to say it. Sorry. Now, Brooksy, you can go. Your turn.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I just, I was just wanting to ask, because I find, when you have those injuries and, all that is going on, because you're kind of a part of the team, but you're not, like you said. But I feel like I remember when I had those injuries, my focus was so much even more on the hockey and getting my body to be even better, that a few times I came back as a better player, more mentally strong, more physically strong. I'm just wondering if you had that same outlook, because obviously you did, because what a year you had. So after those injuries, so I'm just wondering if that's how your mind was too.
Yeah, it was crazy. From what I remember, I was basically rehabbing almost all day. I was up pretty early at the rink or at the the pool, whatever I was doing to rehab. It was just crazy. Just seemed like that's all I was doing. So I was going a little bit stir crazy because I was working so hard all day, and then I didn't have energy to do much. So I just working and resting most of the time and trying to get back into the lineup, like you said, right? And but it all did pay off in the end. I realized that hard work, because I was working so hard to get back, that when I did come back, I was ready to rock, ready to get right on the ice and get back into it. Like nothing changed, right?
You know what? It's injuries can be so difficult to bounce back from, right? And that's I know they kind of hurt your career a little bit. And I was actually going to dive into the Edmonton thing here, but I'm actually going to go first in the mentality side of the injuries, and this kind of stems from Parr's question a little bit, expands it. So while you're in Edmonton, you battled the injuries. Did it affect you mentally at all? Does it, like, obviously, maybe that's a stupid question. Say if it is, if it isn't, but like, does it come to you where you're like, I can't just stay healthy? What the, actually I'll say, what the fuck? Why can't I stay healthy? Right? Why does it affect you mentally, or did it affect you mentally?
For sure. Like the one year I had in Edmonton, that was probably my most successful year in the NHL with when Pat Quinn was there. I actually got the flu shot. I think it was the last time I got the flu shot, and I got sick for 2 weeks after that. I was like bedridden, so I missed a bunch of games. Then I had to, come back and skate for a couple of weeks before I could get back in the lineup. Like those kind of things were really hard because you're doing so well, and that kind of knocks you off your track a bit. And then just being out so long, it's just hard to get back into that groove that you're in. So it just makes it more difficult for sure. And I definitely felt like kind of like I wasn't completely in the lineup for sure, like set there in stone. So sometimes you're kind of dealing with that and trying to like, prove yourself, obviously, because those other guys want to take your job. That's hockey. That's the business, right? So.
Yeah, as they say, every kilometer you go down the road, there's somebody that wants your job, especially in the world of hockey in Canada. So
Yeah.
Oilers, you played for your hometown team, and you hear that a lot now, right? Where Tavares played for Toronto. People are saying Matthews might end up in Arizona one day. If you're a Leaf fan, let's hope not. But you played for your hometown team, and you leave. You get dealt from Columbus, and you get dealt to the Edmonton Oilers for Rafi Torres, I believe was that trade.
Yeah.
And you end up to your hometown team. How did that all trade? How'd that work out for you? What was told to you? What was your expectations going to Edmonton? Were you excited? Did you grow up a big Oiler fan? Because you were around. You were young when they were obviously successful, but they were still good enough in the 90s. They were always a good organization at that time. So it must have been a pretty good feeling playing for your hometown team.
For sure. My parents are from Ontario actually, but they moved to Edmonton, and that's where I was born. But I grew up mostly in Vancouver. But I do still have a lot of family at Edmonton, so to come back was pretty cool. And to hear my parents' stories about them at the old Northlands Coliseum, like I think I was in my mom's belly at some of the games where Gretzky, scoring some big goals and setting records. So to come back, to that history was super cool, and to be playing in Canada again, I was super happy. Because Edmonton's got such a great hockey atmosphere, like most of Canada, right? So it was quite a different change from Columbus, Ohio, where their big thing is Ohio State University and football, basically. So it was nice to come back to Canada and play in the country where they love hockey the most. So.
Yeah, they're very, very passionate. We have an analyst on the Game Sports Show who is a die-hard Oiler fan. Like intense Oiler fan. Like you mentioned one thing, criticism about McDavid and Draisaitl, and they'd be a lottery team, and that guy, you just ignore the chat after because it's too invasive. So
you just set off then.
So the last thing I'll bring up before we transition over to Brooksy, the move to the Coyotes. So obviously there wasn't much of a trail with the Coyotes as you met with Edmonton. So I'm not gonna dive too much in there, but you retired and you came back in that same year, and that was in Europe. So what prompted you to return to the game? Obviously you must have missed it or something, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think I just needed a mental break because I was kind of just tired of going through the whole up and down from the American League to the NHL, and empty promises that I was getting from some people, and trying to be the I was scoring a lot of goals, providing a lot of offense when I was in the Portland organization, trying to make the Coyotes, and things didn't work out. I got called up, and I ended up just like getting bag skated for a month and not really playing. So I just kind of got tired of that, and I think I needed a mental break. I went home for a bit, and that's when I decided to go a different direction and go play in the International League instead. So
definitely. Brooksy.
Yeah, no, it's funny because that's the same reason, I wanted to go over. I was having these good years in the A and not getting the bite that you want, and then you kind of reassess yourself. And I feel like for me, probably for yourself, it felt like hockey was fun again when I went over to Europe. It like totally like rejuvenated me and just made me just really enjoy the game again.
Oh, I agree 100%. Like it was just go and play hockey again and have fun and actually get to play. And that's totally why I went, and I was super happy to get that experience when I did go over to Europe. It's awesome.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, we're going to go back to, obviously to you winning the championship. I just want to talk a little bit about that, the run you guys had, and, obviously you're in that final, and anything can happen. And you must have had the coach giving you, all the pep talks and excitement, the boys, just coming together during that time.
Are you talking for the Memorial Cup or the Western League stuff?
Yeah,
Right?
sorry.
Western League
Yeah.
Championship?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was an amazing run. Like, I think we went 16-2 or something in the playoffs. Like, we only lost 2 games. It was incredible. Like, we rolled over everyone, and we had Lucic on our team, and like we had this he was on our 4th line, believe it or not, at the time, and him and a Garrett Hunt, another guy who just hammer guys. Like, we literally would scare teams that they didn't even want to touch the puck, and the rest of us would just go take the puck and go score. It was just, we had like an amazing team all around, amazing defense, goaltending, scoring. We just in the Memorial Cup, we just couldn't come through, but we're playing some good teams. But the whole experience was amazing to win the Western League, and we went on a tear there. It was incredible.
Tell me about Lucic, because you mentioned you're close. Is that guy, like, on the ice? Every time I think of Lucic, I think of 2013. If you're a Leaf fan, okay, it still haunts you to this day. Or that Bruin team against Toronto. Obviously, he's moved on from Boston. He's went to Edmonton. He's went to Calgary, etc. How is he off the ice? I feel like he would be an absolute beauty off the ice. Okay, a type of guy that you actually want to hang out with, but not a guy you want to play against, because you wouldn't fight him because he would kick your ass anyway. He's a tough guy, but you know him better than obviously a lot of people do, I'm sure. And tell the listeners about how he is as a guy off the ice. Many people do not know that about Milan.
Yeah, Milan and I haven't hung out in quite some time, but we do stay in touch and talk quite a bit. And he's just such a down-to-earth person. He's very good to the people around him, and good to the community wherever he plays. Like, he's just a good leader, honestly. I think he's in the Calgary dressing room, he's one of those guys that everyone looks to. He's got all the experience. He's won the Stanley Cup. He's just he's a tough player. And like you said, definitely don't want to be playing against him, because he plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. He plays hard. He does everything. I know he's getting, towards the end of his prime and towards the end of his career, but he still can play. Like, he still can compete, and he just has that drive in him. And I don't think he'll ever lose that. Honestly, he's just that kind of guy, and just an all-around beauty. I think, like you said, he's just good shit.
How about a fight? Is there a fight that you can tell us that you've seen him do, or like in a game, an action where you're like, holy shit, that's a Milan moment that I'll never forget?
Oh, definitely the times in junior when we played together. I'll never forget some of the times, like some of the hits he threw, some of the, the people he beat up. I think he put his fist through guys' visors and just like nothing into their, it's just, he was a machine as a kid, even, it was incredible. And to see his rise, he was playing like junior B not long before he came to the Giants. And then he went basically to the Giants or to the NHL, after they won the Memorial Cup a few years after us, or the year after us. So he's done incredible things. Like, he deserves everything he's got.
He almost made the Olympic team in 2014. People don't remember that. Like, he was at that
Yeah.
was it the 2014 camp, I believe he was at. He would have been if his team if Canada wasn't as good as it could have been, he would have been a pretty big factor into that. So, Parsi, I could get you to this. Go one of the last few points here on this topic.
Oh God, what do we have left? We've covered quite a lot of topics here. Don Hay was a coach that you won the title with in the W. Was there a specific coach that you had that maybe matched your style of play best that you saw during your career?
Good question.
Really good question. I think like I said, Pat Quinn was an awesome coach for me that I had in Edmonton, and Dean Evison was my first coach for the Giants, actually, and he was pretty sweet. Like, he was kind of a player's coach at the time, and I don't know how his coaching style is now. It's been a while, but he was awesome at the time. He was seemed like a bit of a hard ass, but if you're on, he was always a good guy. If you just worked hard, played well, he was good. So I liked him too. He's awesome. And miss Pat Quinn. He was a beauty. So rest in peace, Pat.
Yeah, he was a Leaf legend in my eyes, but he was also the guy that hit Bobby Orr. People should know that story, but the younger generation may not know that. If the younger generation that's listening don't know, YouTube that. He absolutely rocked Bobby Orr. You don't see hits like that anymore. If that was a hit nowadays, you might get a 5-day suspension from Perros or the whole safety department.
And Pat's a big man too.
Oh yeah,
big guy.
Brooks, any final thoughts on this topic before we start to unfortunately wrap it up?
No, I'm good. I'm ready to move on here, buddy.
Ready? Okay. I know you know what? That was your topic to lead. I wanted you to make sure that you ended it. So, Gilbert, this is the part of the show where, we sadly got to sign everything off. And typically we have time to look at doing a fun question each that would really throw you off. But obviously shows go by too fast. So unfortunately, with time constraints, won't be able to get into these 3 questions that we want to get into. But I want to give you the floor for a couple minutes or 30 seconds, whatever you'd like, to discuss where people can follow you, connect with you, or if you have something to promote besides your rent place on Airbnb in British Columbia, or send a message in general. Anything. Heck, you can bring up another story if you'd like. I want to give you the floor for a little bit here, as much as you want to promote or talk about anything you'd like before we sign you off.
Yeah, I don't have like anything to promote, and I'm kind of a private person. I don't seek followers or whatever that stuff. I'm kind of just want to do my thing, and right now I'm where I live on the Sunshine Coast, just outside of Vancouver. I'm just starting to do my own hockey camps with the U9, U11, U13, U15 teams. So I'm getting back on the ice with the kids and trying to give back over here, and doing some off-ice training as well with, I don't know if you guys know about the skating treadmill and things like that. So I'm doing that with Cross Hockey Development. That's, you can follow them on Instagram, Cross Hockey Development. That's who I'm working with. And yeah, we're just getting started with a local guy here, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'll be on the ice again twice this week, twice next week. I was on twice last week. So just enjoying, my life outside of hockey, but still staying in the game. And I even play in the men's league here, which is it's been pretty hilarious. And guys, telling me to slow down and take it easy, but I'm like, I got to have some fun too. So
you still got to hear that crossbar when you hit it. Ting, ting. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you got to hear the snipe still.
Yeah. Oh, the other day I had a nice one. I had hit this little target on my first shot with the demo for the kids, and they were all super psyched and tapping their sticks. That was awesome.
Yeah,
They loved it.
Parr plays men's league. Brooksy, well, he's too hurt to play men's league, as am I, actually, both of us, and I'm too young to have a back.
Too bad.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we do play when we're healthy. And I like telling the story to guys like yourself, Gilbert. I've dangled Brooksy and scored last year a couple times. And Brooksy won't, I don't know if he'll admit it, but I love playing against him because that's the type of guys, and this is a compliment, that you want to play hard against. Because men's league, you're out there to have fun, but when you have a guy who's played, and I'd love to play with Brooksy sometime, and maybe win a Mayor's Cup here in town. That's the league that we have in town. It's very competitive, but playing against guys like him or even yourself, and that makes you pick up the game and want you to try that little harder, right?
For sure.
It's, if I saw you on the ice, I'd be like, I want to challenge this guy. This guy can kick my ass and beat me.
But we hate you guys. We hate you guys. Annoying us, make us want to kill you.
Yeah, you guys get your sticks up a little bit too much too, probably.
Little slash on the old sheds, 100%.
You don't have to worry about Dave because he doesn't come past the red line in his own end. So he's the men's league cherry picker.
Oh yeah, he's just floating out there.
It's okay. The pucks go in the back of the net, and that all that matters in men's league. Oh, that's funny. That's good. So this has been awesome. It's been great, Gilbert. I'm gonna go around the horn here. I'm gonna say, from me, part of Brooksy, going me first to say our goodbyes. On my behalf, it's been a pleasure, and hopefully we can connect sometime soon. It's been fun. Parr.
Yeah, man, what a pleasure to have you on. Thanks so much for spending your evening with us, and good luck with the kids.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It's been awesome.
Brooksy, you can have your goodbye.
Yeah, I'll just make it quick. Cheers. It's great to hear your story. I've heard your name many times over the years, but obviously to meet you, it's a pleasure. So hopefully we can stay in touch here and tell some more stories another time.
Yeah, that'd be great. Really nice to meet you guys. Nice, Brooksy.
Awesome. I'd like to see you two play one-on-one. I don't know if you ever heard of the Living Sisu 3-on-3 tournament in the summer. I don't know if it was Zach Fucali or those guys.
I did hear about some 3-on-3 tournament. Is that just out east or?
Oh yeah, out east, and we're actually looking for a third guy, me and Brooksy, next year. So I don't know if you're interested. We can Brooksy can go defense. Okay, I'll play forward with you. I'll cherry pick. You guys get the puck, send it up to me, and we're good to go.
All right, maybe I'll think about it. I gotta get skating here. I'm a little bit rusty too, so I've only played I think 4 or 5 games now, so I'm getting back into it. but not too bad.
Fun fact, we have a shootout competition planned with Zach Fucale. He obviously plays with Hershey in the Capitals. So maybe, it was going to be our show in a shootout competition. So maybe you join. We'll have a little prize at the end, or a little something, be a good little content. So it'd be fun if we could.
Sounds good, bud.
But I want to make sure I tell everyone again, thanks to Gilbert, thanks to Parr, thanks to Brooksy. But I want to say thank you to listeners too. Obviously, this wouldn't be possible. The Game Sports has been around since December 2015. It's now 2022 at the time of this recording in December. And as you can see, the Christmas tree in the background and probably some Christmas festivities around for all of us. There it is.
Nice.
There's the tree right there. But, honestly, it wouldn't be possible without you, the listeners. And I want to make sure you always tune into the Game Sports Show, powered by the Game Entertainment Media. And this edition was sponsored by the Sport Displays and Flawless Roofing. And I want to point out this sweater that I got on. I'm bringing it up to the camera here. Nice swag I think I got on from Flawless Roofing. Nice hoodie. They have that available. And I would turn around my camera, but you know what? You can just look at the ad placements that we have. The Sport Displays jerseys are fantastic. You can put up any jersey at any time. Maybe you have a Gilbert Brule jersey signed. You could put it up. Okay, now that he's been a guest on the Game Sports Show, just adds more value to that jersey. I couldn't say that with a straight face. Listeners and viewers, make sure to hit follow and like and subscribe on all the platforms of TGSS and TGM platforms. And lastly, I'm here to remind you to keep your stick on the ice, swing your bats, catch touchdowns, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.